There's a nearly new Toyota sitting in a repair bay as I write this, and the bill taped to the windshield says $10,000 for a brand new engine. Not a salvage truck, not a 100,000-mile beater, a Tundra, barely broken in with a factory engine that ate itself from the inside out. And here's the part you need to understand before we go one step further. The headline you clicked says 5 car brands are better than Toyota and cheaper to repair. I'm going to be straight with you because that's the deal on this channel. Toyota is not a bad car company. It might be the best one on earth. But that reputation has hardened into a kind of spell, and today we break it with nothing but published numbers. Stay for brand number 1 because it beats Toyota at the one game everybody assumes Toyota already won. Here's the thing almost nobody says out loud. Toyota earned its reputation the honest way. When Consumer Reports published its most recent reliability survey, Toyota sat at the very top of the brand rankings. When the research firm IC Cars studied nearly 400 million vehicles to find the ones most likely to reach 250,000 miles, the Toyota Sequoia finished first in the entire industry with a 39% chance of getting there, more than 8 times the average car on the road. So let me say this plainly. If your only question is whether a Toyota will start every morning for the next 20 years, the answer is yes, and you can close the video right now with my blessing. But that is not the only question that matters, and it is not even the most expensive one. Because a reputation is a strange thing. It hardens into a rule of thumb, and the rule of thumb stops getting checked against the receipts. Buyers walk into a Toyota showroom, pay a premium, wait on a list, and accept a shorter warranty than the competition, all because a feeling tells them it is automatically the smart money. And in 2026, when you lay the reliability studies, the repair cost data, and the warranty paperwork side by side, that feeling does not hold up the way you've been trained to think it does. There are mainstream brands beating Toyota on the exact measurements it built its name on, and several will cost you less to fix when something breaks. So who are they, and how is that even possible? To answer that, you have to start with a number Toyota would rather you never went looking for. That number is 200. In the summer of 2025, J.D. Power released its initial quality study, the most closely watched measure of how many problems buyers report on a brand new vehicle in the first 90 days. Lower is better. The industry average that year was 192 problems for every 100 vehicles. Toyota came in at 200. Read that again. Toyota scored worse than the industry average on the quality of its own brand new cars. It landed down around 18th place, behind Nissan, behind Hyundai, behind Chevrolet, behind Kia, and behind Buick. Now, I want to be fair because fairness is the entire point of this channel. A lot of those complaints were about touchscreens and clumsy software, not engines falling out of the car. The J.D. Power director said buyers are increasingly frustrated just tapping through menus to change the temperature. That is a real irritation, but it is not the same as your motor grenading itself. So set the screens aside and look at the hardware. The hardware is where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. Toyota's 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6, the engine bolted into the Tundra and several Lexus models, has now been recalled 3 separate times. The cause was metal machining debris left inside the engine during manufacturing, debris that could wreck a crankshaft bearing and take the whole engine down with it. Across those 3 campaigns, nearly 270,000 trucks and SUVs were affected. And the fix was not a software update. It was a brand new engine, somewhere around $10,000 of work per vehicle. Toyota admitted in its own filings that even the improved cleaning process might not fully solve the problem. And that was not a one-off bad week. Toyota also recalled more than 1 million vehicles in a single rear camera software campaign, and roughly 1.2 million vehicles across that 1 year. So here's the point. The most reliable brand in America, the one whose name is shorthand for bulletproof, spent the last 2 years issuing some of the largest recalls in the country. If the untouchable brand is suddenly this touchable, the real question becomes obvious. If not Toyota, then who? And that is exactly where the countdown starts, with a brand most people wrote off completely a decade ago. Number 5 is Mazda. Yes, the brand that used to mean cheap and rusty. In the 2025 J.D. Power Dependability Study, which measures problems on 3-year-old vehicles, Mazda finished as the number 2 mass-market brand in the country, ranked ahead of Toyota. Its bestseller, the CX-5, is rated by RepairPal as the most reliable vehicle in its entire class, with an average repair cost of about $447 a year, well under the segment average. And Mazda routinely gets ranked among the best values in the mainstream market, without the badge premium baked into a Toyota. It is not louder than Toyota, it is just better built than people assume, and cheaper to keep on the road. Number 4 is Kia. I know, stay with me. In that same quality study, Kia beat Toyota outright on brand new vehicle problems. But the real weapon is the paperwork. A Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. A Toyota gives you 5 years and 60,000 miles. That is double the coverage. For the original owner, years of major repairs Toyota expects you to pay for out of pocket are simply covered on the Kia. When people say cheaper to repair, remember that the cheapest repair of all is the one the manufacturer is contractually forced to pay for. Number 3 is Hyundai, Kia's corporate sibling, and it makes the case even harder to wave away. In that 2025 quality study, Hyundai did not merely edge past Toyota. It finished as one of the top 3 brands in the whole industry at 173 problems per 100 vehicles against Toyota's 200. That is a 27-point gap on the quality of a brand new car, and the underdog is the one on top. Hyundai carries the exact same enormous 10-year warranty as Kia, and it typically costs less to buy in the first place. On the most respected new car quality survey there is, the value badge beat the legend by an embarrassing margin. And here is where it gets worse for the Toyota myth. Because right now you might be thinking these are just quality surveys and warranty terms, not the thing that truly hurts the wallet. The long-haul cost of keeping a car alive for years. Fair. So let us march straight at that. Number 2 is Buick, and this is the one that should honestly stop you in your tracks. Consumer Reports asked real owners how much they actually spent keeping their cars running across a full 10 years. Not factory estimates, real money out of real pockets. Buick came back as the cheapest brand to maintain of every brand they studied, at about $5,260 over 10 years. Toyota, the supposed undisputed king of cheap ownership, came in third at $5,950. That is nearly $700 more to own the Toyota over the decade. And Buick did not squeak by on cost alone. In that same dependability study, Buick finished as the number 1 mass-market brand in America, ahead of every Toyota, every Honda, every Subaru. A quiet domestic brand your grandmother used to drive is now beating Toyota on dependability and on the real cost of ownership at the very same time. Look at what has actually happened here. We are 4 brands deep, and Toyota has been beaten on new car quality, on 3-year dependability, on warranty coverage, and on 10-year maintenance cost. Each one by a different challenger, every claim backed by hard published data. But every one of those brands carries an asterisk. Mazda wins on dependability, but not always on the yearly repair bill. Kia and Hyundai win on warranty and price, yet their average yearly repair costs actually run a touch higher than Toyota's. Buick wins the Consumer Reports maintenance crown, but not the RepairPal yearly average. which means one question is still standing in the middle of the room. Is there one brand that beats Toyota cleanly, with no asterisk at all, on the exact thing this video promised: cheaper to repair? There is, and it is the most obvious name on the whole list. Number 1 is Honda. Not exotic, not a hidden gem, the brand sitting in half the driveways in America. But watch what happens when you stop assuming and start measuring. RepairPal ranks reliability across 32 brands using repair frequency, repair severity, and repair cost combined. Honda finishes first, number 1 out of 32. Toyota finishes 8th. And on the precise metric printed in our title, average annual repair cost, Honda comes in at about $428 a year against Toyota's $441. Honda is not merely as cheap as Toyota to fix. It is cheaper, brand-wide, outright, with no asterisk anywhere. Now put the two crown jewels head-to-head. The Honda CR-V against the Toyota RAV4, the two best-selling vehicles in the country. RepairPal puts the CR-V's average repair cost at roughly $407 a year. The RAV4 sits at $429. The CR-V rates higher for reliability, and a 2026 insurance study found it was the single cheapest vehicle in America to insure, partly because it simply costs less to repair after a fender bump. On top of that, the newest RAV4 is a first-year, all-new redesign, and first-year redesigns are historically the riskiest time to buy any vehicle, while the CR-V rides on a mature, proven platform. Same class, same buyer, same money, and the Honda wins the cost fight in almost every round. So here's the truth this whole countdown was building toward, and it matters more than any one brand name. Toyota's reputation is completely real, but it is doing more work than the cars underneath it are. You pay a premium, wait on a list, and accept half the warranty, all to buy a feeling of safety the data says you can get for less somewhere else on the lot. That reputation stopped being a description years ago. It quietly turned into a price tag you pay every time you sign. And now loop all the way back to that Tundra in the repair bay with the $10,000 engine on the invoice. The lesson was never that Toyota is bad. Toyota still builds cars that run clean to 250,000 miles, and on raw longevity, nobody on earth beats that Sequoia. The lesson is that better is not one number. It is quality, dependability, warranty, and yearly cost all at once. And Toyota does not lead every one of them anymore. On any given measure, a challenger is already sitting ahead of it. And on cost to repair, Honda is flatly, provably cheaper. Here is the final detail that ties the whole thing shut. When Consumer Reports crowned Toyota its most reliable brand, the brand Toyota knocked into second place had been sitting in first the year before. And it was not some $100,000 luxury nameplate. It was Subaru. As recently as the previous survey, Toyota was not even the most reliable brand in America. It got bumped off the top by another maker of ordinary, affordable, unglamorous cars. The throne is real. It is just far shakier and far more crowded than the badge on the hood will ever admit to your face. The smart money was never the logo. The smart money was always the receipt. So here's what I want you to actually take away from all of this. A reputation is not a spec sheet. Before you pay the Toyota tax on your next car, pull up 3 things for every vehicle you're considering: the reliability score, the average annual repair cost, and the warranty length, and lay them side by side. You may still choose the Toyota, and that is a fine answer because it is a genuinely great company. But choose it because the numbers earned your money, not because a feeling spent it for you. The best car is almost never the one wearing the most famous badge. It is the one whose receipts you actually understood before you ever signed the paper. If this saved you from overpaying, or if it just made you angry, tell me down in the comments which brand you drive and whether you would buy it again. And if you want more of these, hit subscribe, because next time we are cracking open the words certified pre-owned and exactly what that comforting little phrase is really costing you.